Have you ever left an interview thinking, I absolutely crushed that interview. That job is mine. They're probably going to call me any second now to extend me an offer, but instead, they call you and they let you know that they are going to move forward with another candidate and you are stumped. You ask them for clarification and they do not provide you any. They don't give you any feedback. You don't know why you didn't get that job. It happens to a ton of people, but in today's video, I'm going to provide you with that clarification. I'm going to give you 7 very common reasons why maybe you did great in the interview, but you still didn't get a job offer. Let's go. What's up, everybody? This is Ben with Ben Talks Talent. I've got 12 years experience in interviewing, hiring, recruiting, and I am passionate about using my experience to help you become the best candidate possible. In today's video, I'm going to clarify some things. Recruiting can be frustrating, interviewing can be frustrating because you go through the process and sometimes things don't work out and you don't know why. Well, in today's video, I'm going to give you 7 of the most common reasons why it doesn't work out, but before we get into the video, do me a quick favor. If you haven't already, take 3 seconds, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell. That way you get a notification anytime a new video drops. 100% of them are designed to help you become a better interviewer and maximize your career. And if you are not new, well, welcome back. Now, without any more, let's get straight into the video. All right, let's talk about the first reason. So the first reason why maybe you were a great candidate, like a fantastic candidate, but did not get the job, is you were up against an internal candidate. I have always said that the path of least resistance to getting a job is already working for that organization. If you're working for the organization, you are doing great work in your current role, an opportunity that makes sense opens up, you stand to have a massive advantage as an internal candidate. So what does that mean for external candidates? Well, you have a massive disadvantage. You are going against somebody who is a known, proven commodity, and quite frankly, it is good for morale. It is good for an organization to be promoting people from within. It is motivating for the employees. So you, as an internal candidate, you might be perfect for the role. But if you come up against somebody who is also perfect for the role, who happens to already work for the company, that's tough sledding. Now, the second reason why you might have had a great interview, absolutely crushed it, perfect candidate, good background experience, is you're up against a referral candidate. This is the second path of least resistance, right? What is, literally the only thing that's better than this is being part of the company, right? If you're part of the company, it just makes all the sense in the world. But if you're a candidate who has applied or has been sent forward by somebody, or you're somebody who is referred to by someone who is already within the company, what do you think is an easier route to getting the job? It is clearly the referral. If you have somebody in an important position and they go, hey, I'd like you to consider somebody I know, I've worked with them previously and they are great, that is a huge leg up. So the second reason why you might be a great candidate and still might not get an offer is the other candidate you went up against happens to be a referral candidate. Now, the third reason is something that happens all the time. It literally happens in just about every single job search. You could be an amazing candidate, great fit, got along with everybody quite well, but you don't get the role because you were the second place candidate, right? There are often tons of candidates who apply. If you're talking about an exciting role, a good role with a good organization and great benefits, there are going to be tons of applicants. And most of those candidates who get into the interview round are qualified. Most of them check all the boxes that they need to check from a criteria standpoint. So you could be there and you could do everything right, but just end up being edged out by somebody who is a little bit of a closer fit. It doesn't have to be a referral. It doesn't have to be an internal. It could just be someone who is a little bit more qualified and just edged you out a little bit from the perspective of the hiring manager, right? Maybe they have a preference of this person's background and they were a slight edge over you and they end up getting a job. This doesn't mean you were a bad candidate, but the third reason why you might be a great candidate and still not get it is you just came in second place. Now, the fourth reason is something that might come into play if there was an assessment. So think about predictive index, culture index, Myers-Briggs, all these different assessments that companies use in their process. It is possible that you're going through your interview process, there are other candidates, and you're all taking these, and you get to the end and it is very close, right? You were a great candidate, candidate 2 is a great candidate. So what do? They end up looking at these assessments, and candidate 2 might just be a better fit from the predictive index or culture index, whatever assessment it is they use. The assessment might look at the two of you and go, this candidate, not you, has a better probability of success. So you could have done everything right, but just from an assessment perspective, the other candidate could represent a little bit of a stronger match. That is nothing you did wrong, but it is certainly a common reason why great candidates may not get an offer. Now, the next thing that you might have done, which doesn't make you a bad candidate, but certainly makes them decide they might want to go with somebody else, is you said something that made them question longevity, right? When people are hiring people, they want to feel like you're going to be there for a while. It is an investment to train you. It's an investment to hire you. And they want to think, I can hire this person and they're going to retire here. That's unrealistic, but they do want someone who's going to be there for a long time. So if in the interview process, you say something that's going to make them think, this is temporary for this candidate, they may not stay forever, that is another reason why you could be great, but they go with somebody else. I can't tell you how many times I sat in a meeting with a hiring manager and I go, okay, what do you think about these candidates? And they go, you know what, Ben, they're both great, but I think this one will stay longer. This person said something that made me feel like they're not going to stick around. If you want to know what these things are, the next video I release, I'm literally going to record it immediately following this one. I'm going to talk about 5 things you can say that'll make a hiring manager question your longevity. So if you were seeing this real time, it'll be out tomorrow. And if this is not real time, if you're watching this and I recorded it like a month ago, watch this video next. The next reason why you could be a great candidate and maybe you get passed up is because you said something that's going to make them think for you, it is all about the money. Listen, compensation is important. None of us work for free. However, if you say something that makes them feel like for you, it is all about the money, it brings up a couple concerns. If you'll leave for money here, you'll go back for money. If you'll leave for money to come to this job, you'll leave for another one. So while it's important to find a role that compensates you fairly, if you talk too much about it or make a big enough deal about compensation that they think it's your main driver, not just a driver, but it's your most significant motivator to make a move, that could give them concern about you as a candidate, your longevity as a candidate, and whether or not you'll accept a counteroffer. And if you do that, and there's a couple candidates that are pretty even, they're probably gonna go with the other candidate. It represents less risk. Now, the final reason why you might be a great candidate, nail the interview, be perfect fit for the role, but you still don't get chosen, is they decide to change the role or no longer fill the role. I can't tell you how many times this has happened, where I have hiring managers who are going through an interview process and they talk to a few really good candidates and they go, you know what, Ben? After talking to these people, what I've realized is this role is actually a little bit different than I initially imagined it. Now, that has nothing to do with you as a candidate, but what it does do is it means you won't get that job because they are going to change the job. Or they start going through and for whatever reason, they are no longer going to fill the role. Maybe a business change, maybe they decided after talking to people that they're not gonna find someone who's going to do what they want this person to do. But that is another thing that happens common, and it doesn't matter how good of a candidate you are. You could be an exceptional candidate, but if after talking to a few people, a hiring manager goes, you know what? I think I need something different. It means you're not gonna get that job, and that has nothing to do with you. All right, there you have it. Those are 7 reasons why you might be a great candidate. And despite that, you still don't get an offer and you don't take on a new role. It happens all the time. It has nothing to do with you, but it happens. So hopefully this provides you with a little bit of closure that maybe you wanted, but you haven't gotten up to this point. Good luck in your next interview. You got this.